Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday, and welcome to this Tarot Party Speakeasy here on June 16th. Wow. Well, I've got a lot of background stuff to talk about while people come in and join the speakeasy, so I think I have everything set up the way I need it. Just to start off with, I switched back to OBS. Back when I used to live stream years ago, I used OBS. And then, because back then it was like Zoom and stuff didn't really connect to YouTube, or it was, I don't think it did, or it was extremely difficult. I don't remember. But anyway, I used OBS and I liked it. It was a little complicated to just get all the streaming keys and everything to connect to YouTube. And then, of course, as things do, they get better and better with time. So I was having trouble with the card cam on Zoom, with the with switching mics and all this stuff. It wasn't working real well. So I thought, well, let me try OBS again. Oh my God, it's so much better. It's the same, which I really appreciate, because it's like everything that I remember doing, I just did it again. But just to connect to YouTube, oh my God, it's so easy. It's so easy, even with a scheduled stream. That's always the tricky part. It's like if you just use any software, Zoom or whatever, and go live, that's not that big of a deal. But it's when you have a scheduled stream on YouTube and you got to connect those two things. It's so easy. And so I hope this is working now, because I did a test earlier and everything seemed fine. So if it's not fine, let me know in the chat if you can't hear me or whatever. But I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. So yeah. So tonight it's a big tarot party, because if you're on my newsletter, you know I usually throw a little bit of astrology in there every week. And so this week is kind of a special week, because there's a new moon in Gemini tomorrow, conjunct my natal moon at 26 degrees. So I'm seeing that as kind of a new beginning. My moon is in the sixth house, which is not the greatest house, but nevertheless, new beginning, new moon, right on my moon, my personal moon. And Mercury went into Gemini yesterday. So Mercury's been in Taurus for quite a while, because it went retrograde there, so it's been a long time. So now it's in Gemini, where it likes to be, and it's there with my moon. So I'm like, well, this is great. And I ordered a little Mercury statue. I've been wanting a Mercury statue, and I look and look and look every time I go in shops, and I never see one. So finally I was like, okay, I'm just going to go on Etsy and just see what they got. And Etsy kind of drives me crazy, because they have a lot of, people in Eastern Europe and stuff, and all over the world, that put things on there, and it's just not obvious right away that that's where these people are. So like I went through, and I found this little, this little clay Mercury, and it was very earthy and kind of different, but I liked it, and I was like, I like this Mercury. So then I go to order it, and then I realize this person is in Ukraine, and it won't be here, they were saying, till like the end of July or something. And I'm thinking the end of July ever. Like, there's a war going on in that country. I mean, like, I'm sorry, Ukraine person, but it's like, I can't order from you. I mean, I may never see that thing. It's like, damn it. So then I did like little search thing, and I made it that it would get here within a week or something like that, because I figured that would probably weed out everybody who's not in the States or something like that. Well, okay, so I found one, and it's a little alabaster Mercury statue, and I ordered it, and after I ordered it, I realized it's coming from Greece. And I'm like, how is it going to get here in like 5 days from Greece? I'm like, that still boggles my mind. I'm like, I don't understand that. Although I did order something from Egypt on Etsy, and it got here in just a few days. It came DHL. It was this, you can see this Eye of Horus ring. It was several pieces of jewelry, and it came really fast, and that blew my mind, because I was like, how the hell am I going to get something like that from 5 days from Egypt, but whatever I did. And so I ordered the statue from Greece, and it came Wednesday on Mercury's Day, which was so exciting, but I didn't realize it was coming registered mail. So I wasn't home to sign for it. And so I got a little note on my door, and so I tried to this is the U.S. Post Office. I tried to reschedule the delivery, but it's 2 days ago and it still hasn't shown up. Come on, Mercury! Come on, Mercury! You're in your home of Gemini. Everything's good. I gotta get my Mercury statue. So, that's a very minor problem, but I just thought I would share that. Let me see if anyone has shown up. Nope, nobody is here. It's 7 o'clock exactly, 7 o'clock. So, yeah, so that's my little Mercury story. What else? I think it seems like there was something else I wanted to talk about. Well, it's very hot here. It's 140% humidity, and it's 80 degrees first thing in the morning, so I have to go water my plants like first thing, and it's just, even then, it's just like, I'm out there for like 15 minutes and I come in dripping with sweat. And then I have these flower beds that I had plenty of time to put them in when it was cooler. I really did. I had months, but did I do it? No, I didn't. So I'm doing it now. I spend like 20 minutes in the morning. So eventually it'll get done, but it's just like, yeah, you waited way too long. Now you're stuck with this. So that's kind of what I'm going through. And then I think I also mentioned last time that I hired an editor to help me with a book about tarot, about learning tarot, that I've literally been sitting on for years, and it never gets published. And so then I just had the bright idea, hire an editor, and I'm doing it during this. Mercury's only going to be in Gemini for 2 weeks. It's going to be super fast, like flying through, but it's my Saturn retrograde project is what I figure. Because the Saturn in Pisces is in my 3rd house, which can do with light writing and stuff. So that's my Saturn retrograde project. So that's what I'm up to. That is what I'm up to. I don't know. I wonder what everyone else is up to. There is one person here. Oh, Julia's here. Hi, Julia. Hello. Hooray. Julia's here. Yeah, I was just blabbing on about just Mercury statues and what's going on here. Just waiting for people to show up. So yeah, the idea is it is a tarot party because, like I said, new moon in Gemini, conjunct my natal moon at 26 Gemini, Mercury is in Gemini. That's a party to me, And then we've got Venus and Leo on top of that. Venus and Leo, that's a party. That's a party. So I think it's a good night for this if anybody shows up. So. And just FYI, Father's Day should be fairly nice because we'll have Moon in Cancer for that. So that's always a good get-together moon if you do any Father's Day activities. It should be good, I would think. The Sun is square Neptune, so people might be telling some tall tales. I know my dad will. So I'm kind of like laughing inside, because I know my dad will. My dad he'll be 90 in July. He'll be at the end of the month. He'll be 90. And he's not in good health. He is not in good health. He has cancer. He's been doing chemotherapy. And yeah, like his brain is not really working like it used to. So yeah, he goes off into these stories that are completely fabricated. He thinks they're true. That's the thing. He really thinks they're true. It's like, okay, all right, yeah. So that's been interesting because my dad is very much a knowledge person and very much prides himself on what he knows. He always has, and so it's kind of like a different dad. It's a different version. So that has been super interesting. So let me see. Julia's still here, and we're 7:04. So I've got. I'll go to the slideshow, I guess. And I will just kind of start. I guess I'll start. Okay. All right. So this should be even easier than it was with Zoom because I'm back to OBS, Julia, if that means anything to you. Back to OBS. Okay, here we are. There's my presentation. It's up already. Okay. So the schedule of events is I've got tips for beginning readers, 4 tips. I've got tarot trivia to win decks. And then I've got astro dice readings and pick a card readings for us to do. So as part of our party festivities. So let me go back here to me. Oh, OBS just kicks butt on Zoom. I'm sorry. The only thing is with OBS, I can mess with my camera to a certain extent, but I can't. Zoom has that nice facial smoothing. I don't know what it's called, where it's like it makes you just it like does all the work on your camera so you look great. I can attempt to mimic it in OBS, but it doesn't. It's not quite the same. Not quite the same, but anyway, overall OBS much better, much better. Okay, so let me go to the card cam. All right, here we are at card cam. So I've got decks to give away. So I've got this Wiser Tarot here. This I got when I went to that tarot conference in West Palm Beach earlier this year, like in January. So this, I opened it, I looked at the cards, I decided I didn't want to keep it. So I will give this one away because this is everything I have is like gently used or hardly even used, just like opened and not used. And I would rather give it away to somebody that wants it than go to half price books with it. So that is that one. And we've got, this is Touchstone Tarot. And I bought this one and I used it a few times and I was kind of like, I'm not thrilled with it. So hopefully someone else is. It's a US Games. It's, I may show you cards out of that after a while. And then the last one I have, this is an Oracle deck and it's called the Oracle of Decans. And it comes with a book. So this is actually not tarot. It's an astrological based oracle. It's kind of like in the weeds. If you're not into astrology, then you're definitely in the weeds with this. And I'll save that for last because people may not be so interested. But this is like, I think it's Revelor Press, which is Jen Zart. People in the astrological community know who she is. So that's that. So that's what we have for the giveaways. And then we have, this is the pick a card reading is right here. So when we get people in here and you have questions, you can pick a card, or we can throw some astro dice. We can do that too. So that's the plan. That's the plan. Okay, back to the presentation. Okay. So, all right. Oh, that's right. I have those are the trivia questions for people to win the deck. So we can't do that right this second. Let me go to the presentation part. Okay. All right. So this, I don't know, poor Julia, I know you have heard this many times before, but you're going to hear it again. You're hearing it again, Julia. Okay. So for you tarot beginners here, beginner tip is number 1 is to take a passive approach to learning the cards. And what I mean by that is let the cards tell you what they're trying to say. And you can do that through a daily draw practice. And for those of you, like Julia, who have heard me say this before, I'm just going to say it again, you might want to try doing your daily draw at the end of the day and say, tell me about what happened today, and work backwards and see if you can connect the cards you draw to your day. And I just wanted to also mention that I have a Telegram group where we do the daily draw every day. So this is the Telegram group, and if you join the email list, which is in the description. If you click that and join in the description, then you'll get an invitation to Tarot Journaling Clubhouse on Telegram. This is on Telegram, which is a messaging platform. And we do the daily draw. And I always draw 2 cards just because that's what I do. And I post a picture of my journal and just what I thought about the cards. And so today I drew the Empress and the 8 of Earth. And so I wrote that, Empress and 8 of Pentacles, and I said getting organized to accommodate growth, because the Empress is about growth, and the 8 of Pentacles could be about organization. And then I said, does growth require work? The Empress doesn't seem to think so. And then someone else in the group commented, and then I commented back. So that is that. Okay, so that is beginner tip number 1. Let's do beginner tip number 10. Beginner tip number 2, find a deck with relatable animated people. And by animated, I don't mean that they're cartoons and they're like moving. They could be cartoons, but it's just a relatable deck for you. I'm going back to me camp now. And let me close that and let's see what's going on if anyone's here besides Julia. No, it looks just like Julia is the only one here. So anyway, back to the relatable animated people deck. It's good to have people on the deck that are kind of 3D and that you can kind of relate to. Like I've got my little mini Rider-Waite here, and so, you know, we've all seen these images, you know, so this is just, my argument here is that this is a little bit flat, a little bit static. I mean, you can kind of relate to some of these people, but they're not, I mean, you know, compared to some things they're doing a lot. Like here's the 8 of Pentacles, which came up in my daily draw. You know, but like you can do better. That's my point. You can do better. You can do better. So let me pull out. This is one of the decks that I have to give away here. And I could do this on card cam, or I could just hold them up. We'll see. Oh my God. There's Tarot Destroyer again. Tarot Destroyer has shown up here before. My God. I'm ignoring Tarot Destroyer. Okay. Okay, so this is the Touchstone Tarot, and this is the, well, I like this Wheel of Fortune. This doesn't really illustrate my point about people, but I like that card. But here is the 8 of Wands. See, look, like that's an interesting person. And look, the wands are like flying right at her. And it's like so much comes up just looking at that picture compared, I think, to the Rider-Waite that I just showed you a minute ago. Here is the Hierophant. You know, I mean, and he looks kind of static, but that's because he is the Pope. So that's his job. Let me see, we got the King of Swords here. So, and this, you know, this deck, you know, the people are a little stiff just because of the way the art is, but they're definitely interesting people, and they're in interesting settings. You know, so like if this is not really your thing, you could look for another deck. Let me put this one away. Did I do the Wiser? No, I did not do the Wiser. I'll just show you the Wiser. Now this one is just, this is just a different version of the Rider-Waite. It's like they recolored it. So this is really not, I don't think it's going to illustrate too much, but there's the Page of Cups. So once again, you know, I mean, whatever. If you're into this, then that's fine. You know, I will say I do like recolored versions of the Rider-Waite just because the way the colors are on the original Rider-Waite are just kind of, they're just kind of blah. I mean, this is at least better. And there, I used to have the Radiant Tarot, I believe that's what it's called, and it's a recolored version of the Rider-Waite. I like that one. I like that one. So there you go. Okay. So that's what I have to say about that for the moment. So let me go back to, well, okay, does anyone have a question that they would want to do a pick a card or an astro dice on? So if you have a question, you can type it in the chat and we'll do pick a card or an astro dice if you want. Or if your question can definitely be, it can be very general. You know, it can be like, I don't know, like what do I have to look forward to this week? Um, you know, uh, what's my biggest obstacle for the next 6 months? Or you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like, am I going to get the job? Or you know, can I earn $500 in the next 3 weeks? Or you know, it doesn't have to be that specific. If you just have more of a general type question. So I'm looking in the chat and I don't see anything. So what we can do here, well, maybe I'll just go back to the presentation. Let me do second screen. Okay. So, all right, so we did beginner tip number 2. Beginner tip number 3. Read for other people even if you think you are not ready. Okay, so reading for other people even if you think you aren't ready. So, yeah, you know, you're trapped in your own head and your own perceptions of things and your own thought stream and all of that. So, I mean, it's fine to read for yourself. I read for myself all the time, but it's very different to read for somebody else. It's just very different, and it's going to get you out of your head and in conversation with someone, and then it's going to become a three-way conversation because then the cards also form another party that is talking during this conversation that's going on. And it's just not, that's just not going to happen by yourself. It's just not. And when you have someone in front of you, you get immediate feedback. They look at you a certain way. They have certain reactions. They may bring something up, you know, or they may ask a question, a clarifying question, or something like that. And so then you really start, you know, building a rapport, like I said, not only with another person, but with the cards, and you start going, oh yeah, this kind of thing works kind of that way, and this works that way. And it's just, like I said, when you're just trapped by yourself looking at the cards, like all this is going on in your head, you're looking at it and you're like, oh, the 7 of Swords. That's kind of bad, isn't it? You know, is someone trying to trick me? Is someone trying to steal from me? You know what I mean? And they're like, no. The 7 of Swords, it can be good. It can be good. And you know what I mean? And it's like we're all neurotic like that in our own heads. So, but when you're talking to another person, it's a lot easier to kind of just clear the way a little bit and not be all wrapped up in that kind of thing. And then along those lines too is I recommend read for another person in person, as I said on the slide, if possible, because once again you have that rapport and stuff when you are with another person. Because I know a lot of people like to do like message readings on Facebook or whatever, and that you already know how messaging and texting is a very disjointed way to communicate, and it's really easy to get to misunderstand and not be clear and all that kind of stuff. Well, why would you bring that to the reading setting? I just don't understand. I mean, I'm just being real here. I'm just like, why would you do that? Especially if you're learning. Don't do that to yourself. Give yourself the luxury, if you will, of meeting with someone face to face and doing everything. And I think the next slide has a couple tips about how to do that. So let me take a drink. All right, so the next slide. Okay, so then I have like the easy method. And once again, if you've been around me for a while, you're just going to hear me say the same things over and over again. And it's because it's simple, but it's not easy. So the easy method is to describe the card. to talk about what catches your eye, or to say what's the story here. So let me grab that one deck again, the one that I kind of like. The one that I kind of like, but I'm willing to part with if somebody else would like it. The Touchstone Tarot, which I put it back in the box, so I'm opening it. That's what I'm doing. Okay. So, all right. So let me pull a card here that will look good to describe. I like that one that had that Eight of Wands, but I don't know if I can find it again. Oh, well, okay, here's one. Okay, this is the Three of Cups. Three of Cups. And so, yeah, so we got 3 women and 3 cups. And so, like, if I was reading for someone and they were in front of me and I was like a new reader or whatever, I could just be like, okay, there's 3 women and they're together. And, you know, it looks like they're spending some time together. And it looks like there are 2 women, they're closer to each other than the 3rd woman. And they seem to be in somewhat of a formal setting. And so maybe that 3rd person is a servant or some kind of, she doesn't seem to be on equal footing with the other 2 women. Okay, now depending on what the question was or what you're talking about, that may fit in. Like if they were having like a social question, you can be like, okay, is there some kind of situation where there's somebody who's kind of like outside the group a little bit or something like that? Or if it's a work situation, it's like, okay, is there somebody who's like underneath you or something, or they provide some kind of support or whatever. But it's like, it's just going to lead, the thread is going to lead somewhere. Or you, like I said, or you can talk about what catches your eye. And so I'm looking at this through the camera, like what catches my eye. I have to look at it this way. What catches my eye in this card is the lady that has her hair up, the blonde lady with her hair up. And so it's this, no, it's not that lady. It's that lady, that lady right there. She kind of has a funny smirky look on her face to me. She's like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? Like, you're not invited. You know what I mean? And so I might start talking about that. So you can already see, like, somehow I'm getting that there's this group dynamic, but somebody doesn't belong, or somebody's not invited, or there's somebody that's odd man out, or there's something like that going on here. Okay, and that was my 3rd point on the slide. What's the story here? So that's what I'm saying. When you're reading for someone, just do that. Just do that. Don't get overly bent out of shape, like, what does this mean? And what is the definition of this in this space and stuff? Be like that, and then you can pull another card. So I'm going to pull another card, and that just helps build your story. Okay, so this is what I pulled, which is it's the Touchstone Tarot. It's the thing that tells me about so that's not really a card. Okay, so the next card I pulled is the Tower. Okay, so, I mean, clearly something's falling apart here. Clearly there's some kind of imminent disaster, so I don't know. Like, is there some kind of plot happening over here that has this happen? Or, like, does that lady, what is it? That lady right there, does she already know that this is coming? And she's just kind of like, hey, you're going to get it, bitch. I don't know. You tell me. You're the reader. But that's what I'm saying. Practice. Get somebody in front of you and practice. See if it makes sense. It'll blow your mind how much people will be like, oh man, that makes so much sense. And you're going to feel like a dumbass saying it. You're going to be like, oh, this is really dumb. I shouldn't say that. But you should say that. You should say that. So, that was my beginner tip number 3. And, okay, yeah, so let me go to beginner tip number 4. Okay, let me go back to card cam. Okay, oh, not card cam, screen share. Okay, beginner tip number 4. Try drawing or coloring the cards or make your own set of cards. So I looked, let me see. Yeah, I looked online and on Amazon, and there's all kinds of tarot coloring books. And I can remember, I don't know how old I was. I don't know, junior high, high school. Like you used to be able to order, maybe you still can. You used to be able to order tarot cards that you can color from the OTO, which I don't even know what the OTO stands for. It's a magical order. But and so I did. I believe it's just the major arcana. And they were big. They were like this. Yeah, and then it's like you can color them in. So my point is you can, even with the Rider-Waite, which you may feel like I'm dissing on the Rider-Waite, which I'm not. Even with the Rider-Waite, just coloring in the Rider-Waite. And I'm sure online I know there is on if you search Pictorial Key to the Tarot, which is the book that went with the original Rider-Waite, there's like a PDF of that on there, and there's very small black and white drawings that you could print off and color, but you're not going to be able to make them real big because they're very small. But I'm sure there are other ones on the web somewhere if you look. I'm sure they're there. You could color those in, or if you like, if you're a little bit artistic and you like to draw, you could sketch the cards. That's going to teach you a lot right there. Because it's going to make you pay attention to details about the cards, and you're going to be working with a different part of your brain, not with the rational part of your brain that's going, what does this card mean? What does it mean? I need to know what that means. I need to know the absolute truth of that card. You're working with a different part of your brain, so that's another way to get out of your own way. Sorry about the coughing. Okay. And then I was just going to point out that you may or may not know this, but I created my own deck. I think I did this in 2013, right here, it says. 2013, I created a digital image of all 78 tarot cards. I did one a day for 78 days, obviously, till I got done, and then another day to do the backs. Just as partly as an experiment, just to do it, and partly because at that time, U.S. Games was still trying to claim rights to the Rider-Waite images, and they were doing all this. I remember faxing in stuff to have permission to use those images on my website and all this bullshit, and all these tarot card companies were like, you can't, post pictures of cards on Facebook, which is so short-sighted on their part, because how many decks have you bought because you saw them somewhere else? You saw them on Instagram, you saw them on Facebook or whatever. And you're like, oh, I like that deck, and you buy it. It's just like, duh, people. But anyway, so I was just like, all right, I'm just making these cards, and then anybody can use them. I released them to the Creative Commons. So I'm like, anybody who wants to use them, have at it. So you can use them, you can't print them and sell them. And I don't really think that it's really, like a deck that you would sell anyway. Like I said, this was just kind of an experiment. And there are some good images there. But it's like I wouldn't get up, bent out of shape about trying to sell them. So just so you know, I mean, we can look at a couple here. A few of my favorites, I guess. This is the Death card. There's the Death card. And let's see what else. Let me see. You got Temperance. There you go. That's the Temperance card. And like I said, you are free to download and use these images. What's another one? Is it the 2 or the 3 that I like? There's the Two of Pentacles. Let's see, what's another good one? Knight of Swords. I have a lot of like pop culture stuff in the cards. See, there you go. Here, check out this one. That's Hillary before she ran for president. Yeah, so that's that. So that's the point of all that. All right, yeah. So let me see what is the next slide here. Okay, yeah, and so like I was saying, you can sign up for the Tarot Underground newsletter, and you'll get a little mini course on learning tarot, and you will get a link to the Telegram group if you're interested in that. So that is that. Let me go back to the chat and see what's happening. Was I not sharing? I don't think I was sharing. I wasn't sharing. You guys didn't see it. Oh, somebody's here. Julia says, do you know about tarot apps? Well, there's that, of course, whenever I need a name, I don't, it's like it goes right out of my head. There's, what's that called? Gosh, I can't remember what it's called. There is one. I don't think what do I have? I'm looking on my phone. What do I have on my phone? I have very little on my phone anymore. I don't have any tarot apps on my phone. None. What is that called? I can't remember the name of that. I want to say the app is like it's black background and gold colored. Let me look. I know it'll come up if I search it. It'll probably be the first one. Watching someone search their phone. Very exciting. Labyrinthos. Labyrinthos. There's that one. I mean, there's a bunch. I just looked at that. Yeah, I mean, you can do any kind of daily draw or whatever you want to do with that, you know. But as I always advise, don't hinge everything too much on the definitions. But if you just want to use it just to pull stuff and whatever, or use it to like keep your journal or whatever, yeah, have at it. But the only one, I don't know, just the Labyrinthos for some reason stands out to me. Otherwise, I don't know. So, okay, Angela, hello, Angela. Okay, she said, what will be the highlights over the next 2 weeks? Were you talking astrology-wise? Is that what you were talking about? Probably, maybe. So, as I said at the beginning, new moon in Gemini is tomorrow. Mercury is already in Gemini. Mercury will be in Gemini for about 2 weeks, and it's going to zip right off into Cancer because Mercury's moving really fast right now. But for the time that we have Mercury in Gemini, it's like he will sextile Venus in Leo. So that's why I was saying, like right now, this is kind of a good party time to have this party because we've got, you know, the moon's coming into Gemini, getting ready for the new moon. We've got Mercury there. We've got the sextile over to Venus in Leo, and Mars is in Leo. Venus and Mars are getting closer and closer, but they're not going to meet. And then we have Saturn stationing also. Saturn stations retrograde on the new moon tomorrow. So we got 4.5 months of Saturn retrograde. So I wrote about this in the newsletter, and it's kind of my take on this is something that could be is like you may have been, when Saturn went into Pisces in March, it was at the full moon in Virgo, which is another Mercury ruled sign, which is just like Mercury, he's everywhere right now. And so now it's retrograding at the Gemini new moon, another Mercury ruled sign. And so I feel like maybe you had some kind of plans or started something or project and you started that in March. And so it's like you're at a point now, and then Saturn's going to go retrograde, which might be like you need to restructure something or reconsider something. And I think part of that is the sextile over to Jupiter in Taurus, which is all about abundance. And it's like, are you thinking big enough? That's what I think. I think it's like, are you thinking big enough on this? Are you really thinking big enough on this? Like your plan, was it just a little mouse plan, a little wimpy church mouse plan? Like, please give me something, a little donation over here. Can you make it bigger? Can you make it bigger? That's my take on it. That, whatever. You may hear differing viewpoints on that, but that's what I'm thinking about for the next couple of weeks with this time with Mercury. That's basically Mercury in Gemini. It's like there's going to be like your brain's going to go crazy. You're going to try to get a lot of stuff done, and I think what you need to keep in mind is what do you need to restructure to make your plans bigger? Like, don't add more to your plate. Just make your little single-minded plan, make it bigger, like supersize it. So that's what I think. Okay, Angela, do you ever use more than one deck for a single reading? I met a reader who does that. Not really, no, other than maybe putting oracle cards in there. I haven't. I could definitely see that because and then maybe I have once or twice, but it's not a normal thing that I do. The advantage I see to that is that you could pull the same card twice. You know what I'm saying? Like you have the one deck and say you have the Seven of Pentacles or something. Well, if it comes up, you can come up again because you have two decks. So that's just kind of it's an easier way to like emphasize certain cards because they're going to double up. Is what I would say about that. And I had a reading when I was in Mexico last year, and we used two decks. The guy handed me a deck, he had a deck, and he would say like lay 3 cards, and he would lay 3 cards, and I don't remember exactly how we did it, but we used 2 decks. So that's my 2 deck input. She said, I mean 2 different types of decks for a single reading. She pulls cards for the main part and then goes to another deck, I think the rider, for clarification. Okay. I mean, you can. Like, I mean, I'm not exactly sure why you would do that, but I mean, whatever works in your brain. And like I said, it might, I don't know, it might just emphasize certain things. And then Angela says, no tarot for me for the next 2 weeks. No tarot for me for the next 2 weeks. What do the cards see for me? Okay, all right. So is that your question that you want to do a pick a card on? Is that what that is? I'm assuming that what it is. That's what that is. All right, so let's go to the card cam. All right, so Angela says, what do the cards see for me for the next two weeks? Okay, so for this part, you need to pick 2 numbers, and I can't talk. On the right there, it's like the keypad of a phone, and that's the numbers. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what 2 numbers do you want, Angela? What 2 numbers? Let me put it in the chat. What 2 numbers you want? And I will pull them for you. Okay. All right. So I'm waiting on Angela. I don't know what to talk about while I'm waiting. Maybe I can I'll wait for her answer, and then I'm going back to the presentation. Yeah, because I think I didn't have the slide showing. I don't know what was I talking about? I was talking about talking about tarot coloring books and yeah. I don't know. I don't know where I went awry with this, but anyway. And then we also have tarot trivia we can do in a minute here. Let me move this over here to the tarot trivia. Okay. All right. Let me go back to Carcam and here. Okay. All right. So Angela says 9 and 1. 9 and 1. All right. 9 and 1. All right. There's 9 and 1. Okay. And so the question was, what do the cards see for you for the next 2 weeks? All right, so the cards see the High Priestess and the Child of Air. Okay, so Child of Air is like I was talking about with all that Mercury energy. Like that's a lot of thinking, writing, doing, talking, communicating with people. You know, sending things out, getting things back, you know, lots and lots of activity. It's like a flurry of activity. And we have the High Priestess here, so this is about, you know, connecting with your intuition, getting messages. So I think for the next couple of weeks, in the midst of all this activity, it's good to make sure that you're connecting inward and looking for messages. And so what might these messages be about? I'm going to roll the astro dice. And we have Mercury. I'm not Mercury. What am I? God, I cannot talk today. That's Scorpio. Uranus, Scorpio, 11th house. Okay. All right. So that is talking about friends, friendships. That's like your friendship group, your networking group. It can be like work related, like, you know, this is talking about like different groups of people that you're a part of. And it's kind of like surprising shakeups, surprising information comes out. And it's kind of like maybe like deep dark secrets, or you didn't realize that's how that person felt. Like they just have like kind of have a meltdown and just like explode, and you're like, wow, I didn't know that's how you felt. Yeah, and like I said, it's like groups that you belong to. Like, you know, maybe something comes out about somebody in those groups, or the organization that holds the whole group together. But it's like, wow, we didn't know that was happening. So yeah, so there's going to be a lot of that. But it's like, yeah, so keep your ears peeled, because yeah, something's going to come out is what I would say. So all right, so that was that. Back to me. Okay, I'm back. Okay. All right. So let's do some tarot trivia. Let's do that. Okay. All right. Okay. So the question is, who conceived of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck? Was it Rider, Waite, or Smith? Rider, Waite, or Smith? Who conceived of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck? Okay, back to me. I think I should probably I'm going to move this chat screen, because I can't see it when I have the thing up. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out where am I moving it. Oh, Angela says thanks. You're very welcome. You are very welcome. Pop out, chat. Here we go. All right. Okay, I think I got it. I think I got it so I can see the chat. Ooh. And I can see what's going on with me. Kind of. Alright, I guess that'll work. I guess that'll work. Alright, so no one has answered yet. Rider-Waite-Smith, who conceived of it? Alright, Angela says, Waite, did Smith do the art? Yes, that is correct. Arthur Edward Waite was the person that conceived of the deck. He hired, see, like I said, names when I need them, they're gone. What is her name? Whatever. Pamela Coleman Smith. He commissioned her to do the art, and the publisher was Ryder. That's where the Ryder part comes from. So there we go. All right. So, all right, next, let's do the next question. To what occult society did both Waite and Smith belong? A, the Golden Dawn, B, the School of Night, C, the Gormagons. And I lost my chat again. Where did it go? Oh, it's right here. I got it. Okay. All right. So, and Angela, did you want a deck? Did you see the decks? Let me know in the chat. Did you see the decks? I'll go back. I guess I'll go back to card cam. Card cam. The decks I'm giving away are Touchstone Tarot, Wiser Tarot, which is a different version of the Rider-Waite-Smith, and this Oracle of Deacons, which is that's an astrological oracle deck. It's not tarot. So it's like you kind of got to be an astro person, is what I'm going to say. If you want these, you need to be an astro person. Let me see what's here. See, that's saying that's Aries, the first deacon in Aries. So that I would, like I said, unless you're kind of a die-hard astrology person, you probably don't want that one. Okay, so let me see, did anyone answer? Back to me, did anybody answer? Okay. Okay, so Julia says Golden Dawn. Angela says Golden Dawn. Angela says, no, I missed the decks. Okay. All right, so yes, you're both correct. It is the Golden Dawn. Ding, 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 ding. So you guys both win a deck, so you need to let me know which one you want. And hopefully you don't want both want the same one. But Angela goes first, so she wins out, because she got the first question. And then Julia, so you can put in the chat which one you want, and then since you're on my list, I can easily email you and figure out where to send it. So yay, congratulations. So since I know how to contact you, I'm not going to hang around and wait for you to put it in the chat. I will look at it though later. So, all right. Let's keep doing trivia. All right, I think I had like 4 of these. Okay, Golden Dawn. Okay, what is the earliest known reproduced tarot deck? Now the key word here is reproduced, because there were tarot decks and they were all just like single copies, but it's like they weren't printed the way we think of, but they were reproduced, like they were hand painted, and they hand painted more than one set. That's what I mean by reproduced. So A, the Marcells, B, the Minciotti Tarot, C, the Visconti Sforza. Think about it, think about it. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Okay, Angela wants the Oracle of the Deacons. Okay, perfect. You got it. I'll email you. And then Julia, you get your choice if you want one of those decks. Let me know. Okay, Angela says the Marcel, and that is incorrect. It's the Visconti Sforza from the mid 1500s. The Marcel's was evidently later. But I'm not a tarot scholar, but from my research, that's what I came up with. So there you go. All right, moving on. Is tarot reading for money illegal anywhere in the United States? A, yes in Pennsylvania. B, yes in Alabama. C, no, it's not illegal anywhere in the U.S. Okay, Julia says she'll take the Weisner deck. Okay, perfect. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, what do you think? Is it illegal in any state in the U.S. to read for money, and if so, which one of Pennsylvania and Alabama, or is it's just not illegal anywhere? What do you think? What do you think? I'm glad the Tarot Destroyer person left. I don't know what their deal is. They show up every now and then. All right, I'm still waiting for an answer. What do you think? Is it illegal anywhere in the U.S. to read for money? For money. Doesn't mean the cops are going to come kicking your door because you have tarot cards. But if you're doing it for money. Okay, Angela says not illegal, though probably somewhere. Julia says not illegal. The actual answer is yes in Pennsylvania. According to my research, yes in Pennsylvania. Now you know. Okay, tarot originated where? A, Egypt. B, Italy. C, China. If you are a good student and you were paying attention to the previous questions, you will have the answer to this question. So I'll give you a little hint. Yep, the chat is slow because you guys are still on the legal question. But I'm waiting. The tarot originated from where? Egypt, Italy, China. You often hear tales about it coming from Egypt. Oh, Julia says Italy. Correct. Ding, 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 ding. All right, Italy. And I think that was, oh, no. Okay, yeah, this is a good question. What Woody Allen movie includes tarot cards as part of the plot? A, Midnight in Paris. B, Alice. C, Scoop. So I love Woody Allen movies, even though he is a pervert or a pedophile or whatever he is. I cannot dispute the fact that he makes wonderful movies. So there you go. I don't know if you guys are Woody Allen fans, but there is a Woody Allen movie where tarot cards are in the plot. It's pretty good. Pretty good. So what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Waiting on the answer. Angela says no idea. She doesn't like Woody Allen. All right, I will advance the slide. It's C, Scoop. It's about the tarot card killer. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. I recommend it. Okay, yeah, then we're back to Astro Dice there. So, all right, let me go back to me. Julia said she didn't know on the movie. It's Scoop. Scoop is the movie. All right, let me get that chat back up. Every time I switch screens, the chat goes away, but that's fine. Whatever. Okay. So, does anyone have any other questions that they want to do, pick a card or Astro Dice on? Or questions in general? Anything you're wondering about? Having to do with tarot, astrology. Julia was asking about apps. All I could come up with was labyrinthos. I have I have a I Ching app on my phone. I use that sometimes. I like that. I have a Lenormand card one too, but I hardly ever use it. I hardly ever use it, but every once in a while. All right, I'm still waiting to see if anybody has any questions. Any questions? I could. Well, let me go to card cam. So I'm gonna do pick a card. I'm gonna do pick a card on, and let me get the chat back up again. All right. All right. I need to do pick a card on something. All right. So I'm going to say, what can we all look forward to this week, this coming week? So that's Saturday to Saturday. All right, so I've got the Ace of Air or Swords and the Eight of Earth. This card's been stalking me lately. I've drawn this card so many times over the last week, I think. So, all right, so Ace of Air and Eight of Earth. Okay. All right, so I think this is talking about like kind of getting into the rhythm of something, like I was talking about, like with these projects and stuff that you may have been working on or that you're going to start now. Like in my case, working with the editor to get my book done. It's like getting organized around that kind of thing, getting into the rhythm with it. It's kind of like just chopping wood and carrying water kind of feel with these projects, and like I said, getting into the rhythm of things. And I think it will be a little chaotic with Mercury and Gemini. And then I'll roll the astro dice, and I've got Venus and Sagittarius in the second house. So that's big. That's kind of a big spender energy there. Yeah. That could be travel. It could be travel. Making travel plans, putting together a trip. Yeah, so it's like yeah. I Venus is in Leo, a fellow fire sign, and then we've got Sag, and that's like, that's what I guess maybe that ties in with what I was talking about. It's like making that dream bigger. Like, how can you supersize that project? Like, how can you make it bigger? Like, how can you just pump it up with that Jupiter energy, with the Sagittarius? Pump it up, like really go for it, really expand it, really get it out there. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I find that interesting. Okay. All right, does anyone say anything in the chat? Back to me in the chat. Okay. Julia says the app is the same someone told me about, in addition to a couple of others, probably for iPhone, not Android. Oh, I would think, yeah. Julia says elaborate, this is all right, because I was like, I would think that was on there, because their website's really well built out. That app is built out. I don't know why they wouldn't have it on Android. I don't know why they wouldn't do that. Okay, all right. Anything else anybody wants to discuss before we go for the evening? It's, I don't know. I don't want to say it's getting dark. It's just the light is kind of fading. We've had this weird, it's not cloudy like how you think of cloudy. It's like this thick haze that just kind of hangs in the air, and it's super humid, and it's just like, and there's a lot of particulate matter in the air. It's like very bad air quality. It's like, it's not the greatest here right now. So that's what I'm saying, is like the haze is thickening as it does at this time of day, and then it'll be cloudy overnight, and then it'll be cloudy haze till late morning tomorrow. And then it gets kind of that sunny haze mixture, but more sun, and then it turns back into more haze. Angela says for fun. I'm not sure what she means for fun. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, if nobody has anything else to add, I'll probably wrap it up, and I'll get you, Angela and Julia. I'll get those things in the mail. Probably not over the weekend, next week, but well, actually, I need to get your addresses. I will email you and get your addresses. Oh, Angela says, I dyed my hair and some of the white hairs turned green. Oh my God, I'm doing it again soon. Will the new black dye cover the green? Oh my God. Oh my God, I feel for you. Oh my gosh. Okay, all right. Well, let me go to card cam. Card cam. All right, so of the numbers that we have left, which two do you want? So we've got 2, 4, 6, 7, and 8, it looks like. Which two do you want? And then I'll roll the Astro dice. And when I roll the Astro dice, I'm looking for Saturn because his color is black. We'll see if it comes up. Julia says Angela need a red filler before adding another color. Oh, thank you for the hair advice. Thank you. It's always good that the colors like a really, it's a thing. It's a thing. You need to know what you're doing. You definitely need to know what you're doing when it comes to color. Okay, I'm just waiting for Angela to give me 2 numbers so I can do a pick a card. We'll see what's going to happen with the hair. Well, it's gonna. I was dyeing mine. I was like doing the highlights, and then I just decided to let it go. I don't know. All right, Angela says 7 and 4. 7 and 4. All right, so 7 and 4. All right, so we've got the Guardian of Earth and the Emperor. All right, so these are very nice, stable foundation cards with the Guardian of Earth and the Emperor. You know, the earthy is making me think of dark, rich colors, so I like that. And then this Emperor card, it happens to have a lot of wood, so, and then it's kind of reddish, and so I think it's kind of bringing up what Julia was saying about the red filler, you know. So I think it will. I think the red filler is good advice. But let me do the Astro dice, and like I said, let's see if Saturn comes up. Oh yeah, we got Capricorn, which is Saturn's sign, Saturn, and 6th house. So is that the 6th or the 9th? I don't know which way it goes. I think it's the 9th. It's the 9th. Yeah. So yeah, because we got that double Saturn. So yes, it's gonna happen. All right. Back to me, okay, so Angela says it's semi-permanent, washes out in 6 weeks anyway. And then Julia said, good to know, yeah. Now, I know, I've heard all kinds of stories of people like being blonde and then swimming and their hair turns green and all kinds of stuff. Angela said the white hairs used to be reddish. Oh, wow, okay. Oh, Julia says she's a former hairdresser, that's why she knows. Okay, there's a lot of a lot of red coming up here for some reason. So there you go. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, I think that's a positive note to end on. That Angela's hair is going to get straightened out. It's going to get straightened out and be black the way she wants it. So yay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to close this out. Say goodnight. Have a wonderful evening, everyone, and I'll see you next week for the next Speakeasy on Friday.